Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Hobbyist Now, your one stop shop.
For all things nerdy and dirty.
That's right. That's right. I'm Claudian. And of course, this is the greatest, Nick, right here.
Yo.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you like what you see and hear. Also, leave a comment. We would love to hear from you.
We're also on Spotify. The link will be in the bio.
All right. Also, our Instagram is also in the description for the episode as well. So go check out that too. All right. So this episode we're gonna start as we usually do with some news. So I'm gonna have you, Nick, take it off.
All right. So we're actually starting off with some pretty exciting news, especially for me.
Hmm.
Dragon Ball Super manga will be returning with a new arc of Dragon Ball Super, which begins in December, serving as a prequel to the recent anime film Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which begins again in December with a publication of Chapter 88. According to the official magazine advertisement, presumably taken from Jump, the Dragon Ball Super Chapter 88 is due to release on December 20th, which again, we're not 100%. I mean, I don't read Japanese, neither does he.
Yeah.
So really, it's just like a guess because those are the numbers that are there. Um, this chapter begins with a brand new arc, which serves as a direct prequel to the events of the anime film Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So that'll be something exciting to look out for. Claudian, why don't you move us on to our next bit?
Yeah. Just one thing. I mean, that anime's been going. That's been the manga anime's been just going strong. It's amazing. Like, we ever thought that Dragon Ball would
No,
be going this long?
not.
Like,
I mean, these movies. When I was a kid, you were lucky to find them, and now they're in
yes,
movie theaters.
yeah,
Never
literally,
thought that
and they're
that would
doing
happen.
well.
Yeah, they
They're
did
doing
did
real
very
well.
well.
So yeah, we're gonna move on though to Jujutsu Kaisen, season 2. You fan of this show?
I
I like this
I
show.
absolutely love this show. Animation's phenomenal.
Yeah, so it will be 2023 is when it's coming out, the year. We have no release date yet that has been announced. And on top of that, we even know which arc they're going to go with. The anime will be adapting next year. Um, Most likely arcs will be, if we like took an educated guess, will be Gojo's past arcs, which are chapters 65 to 79, and then uh, Shibuya, Shibuyan's incident arc, chapters 79 to 136.
Just again, uh, so you guys all know, season one and the movie are both on Crunchyroll in both their original format and English. So check that out.
Yeah. And then moving on a little bit differently to our to normally what we discuss. Are you ready for a Christmas film?
Oh my god,
Do you
yes.
love Christmas movies?
I
Well,
love them.
we've got one for you. Violent Night. It's Go check out the trailer. It's hilarious. A team of elite mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage. But the team isn't prepared for a surprise. Saint Nick is on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. That will be December 2nd, 2022. Um, it just looks hilarious. Actually, I saw this trailer, and I was like, there's a film and that was quite a few years ago came out from Finland called Rare Exports, where Santa Claus is a monster. And I just kind of had those vibes, even though it's a totally different movie. What do you thought about this?
I thought this was a joke. It popped up on Hulu, and I thought maybe it was like a commercial for something completely different. And then it was like, this is releasing then, and it kind of messed me up.
Yeah, for a lot of I'm sure a lot of people that watch our stuff probably are familiar with the very famous SNL, now famous SNL kind of skit with David Harbour, who also plays Santa Claus in this. You may know him from Stranger Things. He plays Harper, and of course, he was in that Black Widow film,
The Red
The
Guardian.
Red Guardian. Yeah, and also he was Hellboy too. Really good actor, honestly, phenomenal actor. But he had done that skit with where he was the the garbage.
Oh, Oscar the
Oscar's
Grouch.
the Grouch, yeah, and he's all like, "Well, if everybody called you trash, why don't I just become it?" And he's like, and it's in style of the Joker, the film, the Joaquin Phoenix film. It's so that kind of literally was the exact vibe. But no, it's a legit movie. It is coming. I think Universal is behind it. So yeah. But we're gonna now move on to Nick's favorite subject, the figures. Let's see what we got.
So all of these will be released in December of this year. We have the Good Smile Company, Spy X Family, Nenroid, Your Forger. She'll run you about $39.50. Absolutely adorable little figure. I mean, she's adorable in the show. She'll be adorable
Mm.
she's adorable as a figure. It's hard not to. Then moving on to Mega House Naruto Gals DX Naruto Shippuden Sakura PVC figure. She's a statue, and you'll see the picture over here. She'll run you about 199.46. Lots of detail. I almost am thinking about getting this for my girlfriend, but we'll see.
Is she 35 inches?
No, no, she's not. However, this next figure is not 35 inches, but he's fighting her for that spot of most expensive figure we've mentioned on here.
Mhm.
Good Smile Arts Shanghai Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales Awakening 1/6 Polystone figure.
Wow.
$874.26. I literally just put this character or this one on here. It looked cool. Spider-Man's probably not even on my top 10 of favorite superheroes. And but it looks so cool. It's very well done. I don't know if it's worth $874.26. Awesome, but it's over here. You'll see it. If someone gets it, please send us a picture of it.
Yeah, we would love to see that, like, for sure.
Oh God, yeah. And then on to our last figure actually. So the Good Smile Company, My Hero Academia, Nenroid Shigaraki, 35.62 is what it'll run you. He comes with all the Nenroid stuff, little extra stuff. This figure's adorable. I would never thought I would call Shigaraki adorable because he's weird. He's a weird dude. But he's cute in this. So if you end up getting him again, we'd also love to see that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So moving on from figures, we got some really exciting news. I was a huge fan of this show. Rurouni Kenshin 2023. So a promotional video was actually shown at an Aniplex Online Fest 2022. But don't fear, this whole series will actually be based off the manga as well. So there's no veering. Also, the original mangaka Nobuhiro Watsuki supervised the character designs and scenarios. Soma Saito, and who plays Hermes in Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, and Rai Takahashi, who plays Emilia in RE0 Starting Life in Another World, will star as Kenshin and Kamiya, respectively. They'll be replacing Mayo Suzukaze and Mika Fujitani, who played the voices originally in 96 and 98. So there's no worries, at least on my end. I believe the series is in really good hands. But we'll be moving over to Claudian for some exciting news as well.
Yeah. So J Novel Club released Goblin Slayer authors a new novel. Interesting title, Blade and Bastard. Simultaneously with Japan, J Novel Club announced during its panel at Anime in NYC on Saturday that it has licensed Kumio K Kage and Suben Blade and Bastard series and will publish it simultaneously with the Japanese release. J Novel Club also has the first part of the novel available as a preview. The new Japanese publisher, Dracom Media, will publish the novel in Japan on December 9th. SB Creative published the first volume of Akumo Kage's Goblin Slayer dark fantasy novel series in February 2016, and KCK and Kurase from Green for Dearly Stars launched an ongoing manga adaptation in Big Gangan in May 2016, and Yang Press has licensed both Kumo K. Gagne's Goblin Slayer novels and uh, Keisuke's Kurosae's manga adaptation. The novels have inspired spin off novels and manga series. The television anime adaptation of the novels premiered in Japan in October 2018, and Crunchyroll, which is where I first saw it, streamed the first season with subtitles as it aired. Funimation also streamed the series with an English dub. The anime will get a second season. Keigayen is also planning on a new manga series entitled Moscow 2160 that will serialize in Square Enix's Big Gangan magazine. Suben is perhaps best known as the illustrator for Kujen Murayama's um, Overlord novel. Sorry, Overlord, a light novel series, which was great. I loved
Oh God,
Overlord.
I love it.
So yeah, kind of exciting news. Great animator. Loved Goblin Slayer. And to see that kind of collaborations and other works happening will lead to some good stuff. Moving on to you, Nick.
So probably a shocker to some of you because I know it's a shocker to both of us.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know this. Yeah,
yeah, I
these.
thought they were well past this,
Yeah.
but the thousandth Pokemon has actually been revealed at last. Game Freak has finally done it. As of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there are now more than 1,000 Pokemon. Pokemon Sword and Shield, along with their DLC, brought the total up to 905. And Scarlet and Violet's new editions cap the number at a whopping 1,008.
Hmm.
For those who are tracking it, that's not counting regional variants such as Wooper, new variant in Paldea region, though it does count new regional evolutions, assuming they have different names other than their counterparts elsewhere. So it the who is this thousandth Pokemon? It's I absolutely hate this thing's name. Um, Golden Go. I don't like it,
Godingo. Yeah.
and it's not a good looking Pokemon. I feel like they've gotten very lazy and kind of weird with their designs, and not in a good way. But yeah, like I said, so that's some pretty big news, honestly. I mean, not many things make it that far.
Yeah. I when I found out that they only were there, I'm like, really? Like that's like an impossibility.
Dude, I thought they were there like 4 years ago.
Mm.
But that being said, Claudian, let's move on to you.
So some exciting news: Attack on Titan, the final season, part three, will be coming out in 2023. Attack on Titan is back for its final season in 2023. Yes, this time it's for real. After two previous parts and a long, long wait, the show's endgame finally concludes next year. Unfortunately, for those of us desperate for info about the hit anime, there's actually been surprisingly little released about the new season. We've got the briefest of trailers and a colossal new poster. While we can put together pieces from the source material to look ahead to how many Attack on Titan episodes are going to be left, we don't have a number yet. But yeah, the last episode was episode 87, which was the dawn of humanity, and we've been like sitting on that for like years. So we need to know what happens next. So yeah, so two posters were posted on Twitter. First one was on April 3rd, and the second was on July 16th. First one was the cast in a foot imprint, and then the second one was a really sweet one actually. I like to make that actually the back like a wallpaper or something, but it's the it's a like a the pre Titan form essentially, which for us true form we all know it's an alien or something. But anyways, yeah, moving on to you, Nick.
So, just to preface this, we took this straight from Game Informer. Only reason we say that is because we feel like this summarized this entire game the best, in the words of this man. So Gotham Knights Batman Legacy deserves better. So the game itself is actually capped out at 30 FPS on consoles, which is disgusting. There's no co-op crossplay and it has a boatload of performance issues. This actual thing was, or this whole thing was pulled from Game Informer on October 20th, 2022. The game, they gave it a 73, which is surprising with all the issues. So Gotham Knights didn't wow me. It's overly familiar objectives, combat, and activities, but it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth. It's fun to control some new heroes as they brood over Gotham from its building overhangs and uncover hidden plots against its people. Those heroes are right to wonder if they're living up to a vaunted legacy. And even if they're not quite up to snuff, Gotham has enough baddies to punch to make for a good time, whoever you are. Yeah, that game, as far as I'm concerned, from everything I've seen, I was really excited for it in the beginning. Um, it has too many issues.
Hmm.
It seems like with a lot of these newer games, these executives are getting involved and trying to push like microtransactions and all this other BS. So they kind of killed that game.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm not gonna try and stop you from getting it. I would, you know, support Batman, but that game, I especially love the Red Hood. Red Hood's one of my absolute favorite characters, and that game just kind of killed it. But before we move to our main topic, um, another one of our beloved actors has
Hmm.
actually passed away on November 19th due to apparent suicide. Uh,
Um,
Jason David Frank, who plays, as most people know, Green Ranger and White Ranger. Uh, he was also other Rangers in the series, but those are his two most well-known ones. Uh, all I can say is if you need help, definitely seek it out.
yeah. There's help out there.
Yeah,
Anybody who's really needing it, there's a suicide hotline.
and people would rather talk to you now
Yeah.
and watch you get help than have to wonder what they could have done at your casket.
Yeah. Many people who had like, straight on face to face experience with some Frank that was had no clue. Like
No, because
he was
he's a nice
a
dude.
nice
He's
dude. Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, there's videos all over the internet of him just. He was great to children, men,
Yeah.
everyone.
Everybody. Yeah. And he was a lot of people like really had the feeling that like a lot of these actors they get kind of like shoehorned into this kind of role, and a lot of people kind of reject it and will just have nothing to do with it. But he really embraced being Tommy from the show,
Yeah, he did.
and he really loved it. He really did. I mean, till real recently, like it was like people have been coming out saying he's just been like he was a great person. He really embraced it. He really loved the love that the community was giving. So to have this suddenly happen, he was going through, from what we were understanding, some divorce, something with a divorce.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know if that was entirely the case, but
but
like,
it's sad. So definitely, again, if you need it, seek help. I'm a huge proponent of that. I would always suggest get help.
you know,
Um, but yeah, so Claudian.
yeah. So we are gonna actually move on to our main topic. So we're gonna do something a little different. For this, we're gonna focus really on one person, and that is, of course, the great, phenomenal voice actor Kevin Conroy, and his work specifically on the Batman animated series. We feel that that's a role that he's always himself respected. Mark Hamill, considered him a brother because they worked together on that. So it's the most meaningful thing for Conroy, and so like I feel like this would be the best thing for us to talk about. So we are going to be focused narrowly on the anime series and two movies that followed the Batman animated series, and then a couple games.
Yeah.
I think is what we've decided on. So yeah. So we're gonna begin that, and we're gonna begin with the life of Kevin Conroy. All right. So we're gonna go into the life of Conroy. Um, Conroy was born on November 30th, 1955, in Westboro, New York, into a Irish Catholic family. He moved to West Point, Connecticut, when he was about 11 years old. He had three older siblings. In 1980, Conroy decided to try his hand in television and moved out to California. He landed a role in the daytime soap opera Another World. From 1980 to 1985, he acted in a variety of contemporary and classic theater pieces. Conroy did end up returning to television in 1985, where he was in the TV movie Covenant and had a role on another daytime soap drama. He's best known for his portrayal of the DC comic superhero Batman in various animated media, beginning in 1992's Batman the Animated Series. He is subsequently and its subsequently subsequent spin-off TV series and feature films in the DC animated universe. Due the to the popularity of his performance as Batman, Conroy went on to voice the characters of multiple films under the DC Universe animated original films a movie banner and the critically acclaimed Batman Arkham and Injustice video games. So we're gonna move it to you, Nick, with starting off with the games.
So, like he said, beginning with the games. So all these games will be focused on the animated series games, for the most part, or at least games that involve some type of animated series stuff. So, Batman the Animated Series is a side-scrolling action game by Konami, released for the Game Boy in 1993, based on the TV series of the same title. A Super NES version was planned, but the game was ultimately released under the title The Adventures of Batman and Robin due to its show undergoing a title change between seasons. The game is an action adventure platformer. The player can switch between Batman or Robin to gain access to character specific abilities. Batman uses a grappling hook to scale heights, Robin walks across ceilings, and both characters can wall jump. Claudia, next game.
Yeah, the next game is going to be The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Is a series of video game adaptations released between 1994 and 1995, featuring the DC comic characters Batman and Robin. Based on the Batman the Animated Series, which had been retitled The Adventures of Batman and Robin for its second season, the games were released for numerous platforms with Genesis, Game Gear, and Sega CD versions published by Sega, while the Super NES version was published by Konami. For the most part, it is a action adventure platformer in which the players control Batman and follows follows him to the end of each stage where a villain is set to appear. Some of the more common features in the game is the possibility to equip with different gadgets such as bombs and X-ray lenses. Back to you, Nick.
So, Batman Chaos in Gotham is a video game that was released during 2000s and or 2000 by Ubisoft for the Nintendo Game Boy Color. It's based on the new Batman adventures. It's a side-scrolling action game, pretty much like every single one of these games is gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
at least the older ones. Claudian, over to you.
Yeah, so we're gonna actually go to a different game style. Batman Gotham City Racer is a racing game released in 2001 by Ubisoft for the PlayStation. It is based on the new Batman adventures and incorporates many clips from the series into the game. In this game, you take on the role of Batman, Nightwing, and Batgirl. Throughout the game, you race around the streets of Gotham City in the Batmobile and other vehicles, playing as the assorted villains. Back to you, Nick.
Batman Vengeance is a 2001 action adventure game. It was released for PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, Xbox, Microsoft Windows. The game was developed and published by Ubisoft in conjunction with Warner Bros. And DC Comics. The game is based on the television series The New Batman Adventures, and features most actors from the show reprising their roles. The story centers on Batman uh, investigation of the Joker's apparent death after their latest encounter, while having to deal with other villains and their schemes as a larger plot orchestrated by the Clown Prince of Crime. Batman Vengeance received mixed reviews, which like all of these games did. But Claudian, over to you.
Yeah, the next one's going to be Batman: The Rise of Shinsu. Is a 2003 action beat 'em up video game released for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance, GameCube consoles. It was developed and published by Ubisoft in conjunction with Warner Brothers, Interactive Entertainment, and DC Comics. The game is based on the television series, The New Batman Adventures, and features most of the voice actors reprising their roles. The story follows the Bat family, Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin as they face a new adversary, the super powerful Asian warlord known as Senshu, on the anniversary of Batman's parents' murder. Back to you, Nick.
Batman Arkham City. So the only reason I'm even mentioning this one to begin with is the fact that it literally has one of my absolute favorite suits for the entire Batman Arkham series. And that would be the animated suit. So this suit, whenever you wear it, also makes Robin and Catwoman have their animated series suits, which is just perfect.
Hmm.
So if you do end up playing that game, totally worth getting that suit because it adds just that a little bit. It looks a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's perfect. Claudian, over to you.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go to what we like to call them our meat and potatoes. Again, this is focusing on the works of Conroy. So we're gonna really focus on Batman the Animated Series and the two films that follow. One was a theatrical release, and the other was straight to video. So we're gonna start with the show first, and that is Batman the Animated Series is an American superhero animated television series based on DC Comics superhero Batman, um, developed by Bruce Timm, Paul Dina, and Mitch Bryan, and was produced by Warner Brothers Animation. It originally aired on Fox Kids with from September 5th, 1992 to September 15th, 1995, with a total of a whopping 85 episodes. 1994, the series began airing under the on screen title The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which was also used for Fox Kids reruns of earlier episodes. In 1997, the new Batman Adventures began airing on Kids WB as a continuation of the series, lasting 24 episodes. It features a drastically different animation style and character redesign, as well as a few voice cast changes. While not part of the original vision, it has often been included in the same home video releases and syndicated rerun packages. Batman, the animated series, was praised for its darker tone, mature writing, thematic complexity compared to previous superhero cartoon shows. In addition to its artistic presentation, film noir aesthetics, and voice acting, oh, orchestrated soundtrack, and modernization of its title character. IGN.com lists the series as the best adaptation of Batman anywhere outside of comics, the best comic book television show of all time, and the second best animated series of all time, after The Simpsons, of course. Wizard Magazine also rates it number two of the greatest animated television show of all time. Again, after The Simpsons. What's better than The Simpsons? Um, TV Guide ranks it the seventh greatest cartoon of all time. The widespread acclaim led the series to win 4 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Animated Program. The series became the first in the continuity of the shared DC animated universe, spawning further animated TV series, feature films, comic books, video games, with most of the same creative talents. These include Superman, the animated series from 1996 to 2000, Batman Beyond, which is a great show, 1999 to 2001, Static Shock, 2000 to 2004, Justice League, 2001 to 2004, Justice League Unlimited, 2004 to 2006, the theatrical film, Batman, The Mask of the Phantasm, 1993, and the direct to video films, Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub Zero, 1998, and Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, 2000, and Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, 2003. Another another continuation of the series is in development in the form of an audio podcast drama, with most of the cast returning, along with the writer Alan Burnett.
The series took influence from Tim Burton's live action films Batman 1989 and Batman Returns 1992, and the acclaimed Superman theatrical cartoon produced by Fleischer Studios in the early 1940s. Designing the series, Bruce Timm and Eric Randominski uh, emulated the Burton film's otherworldly timeliness, incorporating period features such as black and white title cards, police airships, and vintage color schemes, and film noir flourishes. The visual style of the series was based on the artwork of Randominski, and the gothic look of Gotham City was derived from his initial designs. In addition, Randominski issued standing order to the animation department to make all backgrounds be painted using light colors and black paper, as opposed to the standard, which would be white paper and darker colors. The distinct visual combination of noir imagery and Art Deco uh, design was dubbed Dark Deco by the producers. The series initially took a variation of the music written by Danny Elfman for the Burton films as its theme. Later episodes of the series used the new theme with a similar style by Shirley Walker. An occasional collaboration of Elfman. The score of this series was influenced by Elfman's work on Burton's films, as well as the music of the 1940s film noir. The series is more adult oriented than previous superhero cartoons, though still considered appropriate for younger viewers. It depicts outright physical violence against the antagonist, including realistic firearms, though only character who gets shot is Commissioner Gordon, um, which is in the episode I Am the Night. First time producer Tim and Randominski reportedly encountered resistance from the studio execs, but the success of Burton's film allowed the embryonic series to survive long enough to produce a pilot episode on Leather Wings, which, according to Tim, got a lot of people off their backs. During the series production, producer Alan Burnett wrote an episode without dialogue entitled Silent Night to explore more of Batman's sexual life, but this was never produced. Burnett also intended to make an episode featuring a female vampire that would bite Batman to suck his blood, but obviously that never materialized.
The series also notable for its supporting cast. Numerous known actors provided voices for a variety of recognizable villains. Most notably, Mark Hamill, um, previously famous for his role as Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars trilogy, whose prominence as a voice actor was heightened through his cheerful, deranged portrayal of the Joker. The voice was originally given to, in fact, legendary actor Tim Curry, but he developed bronchitis during the initial recording session. John Glover, who later voiced the Riddler, also auditioned for the Joker role. Hamill, who found himself to be the biggest fan of the Batman comics among the cast, credited the laugh he had honed on the stage in Amadeus, with landing him the role. The recording sessions under the supervision of voice actor Andra Romano were recorded with the actors together in one studio instead of taking separate recordings as is typical. This method would later be employed for all subsequent series in the DC animated universe. Al Pacino was considered, in fact, to be the voice of Two Face. Could you believe? Imagine, imagine that a Al Pacino Two Face in the series, but he declined the offer. Richard Mull was instead cast in the role. Other actors include legendary Ron Perlman as Clayface, Rudy McDowell as the Mad Hatter, David Warner as Ra's al Ghul, Michael York as Count Vertigo, Kate Mulgrew as Red Claw, George Murdoch as Boss Biggies, Ed Asner as Roland Daggett. I can't believe Ed Asner. I do know who he is. He's old school actor, but still, that's
Huh.
amazing. I didn't know that. And and oh wow, and George Duzan as the ventriloquist. One of the series' best known inventions is the Joker's associate. In fact, did you know this? Harley Quinn, who became so popular that the DC Comics later added her to the mainstream comic book continuity. The Penguin Penguin when underwent changes for the series. His appearance was remodeled after the versions seen in the Batman Returns, which was in production simultaneously with the series. First season, new life was also given to lesser known characters of the series, such as Clock King, in addition to dramatic changes were made to other villains such as Clayface and Mister Freeze. The latter of whom was changed from a gimmicky kind of mad scientist portrayal to a more dramatic, tragic figure whose fragile exterior hid a doomed love and vendetta, vindictive fury. So now we're going to move over to the seasons. So we're going to have you, Nick, start off with that.
Okay, so season one was from 1992 to 1993. 65 episodes were produced for season one, due to it being the minimum number of episodes necessary for a TV series to be successfully syndicated. 60 of these episodes were initially aired during the 1992 to 1993 television season, which ran from September 1992 to May 1993. The final 5 episodes of season one were held back until September 17th, 1993. Episode 1 to 28 were released on DVD in the Batman the Animated Series Volume 1 set, episode 29 to 56 in the Volume 2 set, episode 57 to 85 in the Volume 3 set. And then Claudian, over to you for season 2.
Yeah, so season two, which is where it's going to get its changed name for a while, or for its entirety, pretty much. Season two, from 1994 to 1995, because of the success of the show was enjoying, while the 65 episodes of the first season were still airing, the Fox network executives ordered a second season of 20 more episodes. Season two featured Robin more prominently, and 11 out of the 20 episodes were given the on screen title The Adventures of Batman and Robin. After airing 5 of the 20 episodes in May 1994, the network reduced the series to airing only weekly on Saturday mornings. 10 more episodes were broadcast in this format in September to November of 1994 under the name Adventures of Batman and Robin title. Once these 15 episodes had premiered, the final 5 were held back until September 1995. The weekday slot was restored to include reruns of the entire series, with all previous episodes being shown under the new title for all remaining airing on Fox, as well as several VHS releases. The entirety of the second season was released on DVD as part of the Batman the Animated Series Volume 3, alongside the final 9 episodes of Season 1.
So season 3 was from 1997 to 1999. 3 years after the second season of the Batman the Animated Series ended, production of the show was moved from Fox to the WB network, which was airing and producing Superman the Animated Series. These shows were merged as part of an hour-long segment called the New Batman and Superman Adventures. The WB wanted more adventure episodes of Batman, so 24 new episodes were produced, which featured a different format from and more focus on Batman's supporting cast. In addition to the network's demands, the producers decided to make the show match the graphic style of Superman. So all the characters and subjects were redesigned with fewer lines, usually referred to by fans and creative staff as the revamp.
Hmm.
Um, a similar graphic style was used in the rest of the DC animated universe later on. The entire series was released on DVD as Batman the Animated Series Volume 4. So when we mention the volumes,
Hmm.
it's these right here. They're about $75 on Amazon in a set. Um, highly suggest it. Fantastic series. It is on HBO.
It's on HBO Max, so if you have that, that's how I think we were watching them
Yeah,
actually.
I don't mess. I try not to pull these out. They do actually sell a whole. It's like one
Hmm.
thing, and it has all of the episodes on it. It is Blu-ray, so for those who are nuts about Blu-ray, um, but moving on to our portion where we kind of like rate the series as a whole.
Yeah,
So I think it's obvious. I give this a 10. He he is the voice of Batman.
yeah,
Keaton is the look of Batman, and that's just how it goes. So with that being said, I mean, I I love the animation. I love the art style. I love the voices, just everything about it. It's really what kind of dragged me into like comics as a whole, collecting in general. Um, yeah, I just there's nothing I can't say anything bad about the show. I absolutely love it. I mean, one of my favorite episodes of this, well, two of my favorite episodes, I guess I should say, is the Hugo Strange episode. Absolutely adore that episode. Um, and the go,
the Ghost,
the Gray Ghost.
Gray Ghost.
Absolutely love that episode, mostly because the Gray Ghost is actually voiced by Adam West, which to me I found funny, especially while watching it now as an adult, like knowing that Adam West is Batman for the live action, TV show back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Claudian, what about you?
Um. Well, you got to understand. Like for me, I know it's gonna be the same with Nick. Like, and I don't know. I don't remember the moment where I discovered Batman, like the show, but I do know that one day I had like sat in front of the TV because I'm fat. I was a fat lard. I am a fat lard, and we all are, and we just like I just sat there and I don't know what it was. Turned it on, and you just saw those silhouettes and the music, and you were just like, "What is this?" And you just see bum 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 bum, and you're like, "What?" Like, dun, 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 and you're hearing this orchestra, and the opening just drags you in. It was like so film noir, so surreal. Like you were just like, it was almost like you were almost like peering into something that nobody really had seen. And I know probably that sounds ridiculous now, but like that's kind of the effect of that. I mean, the actual show, once the show like actually begins, it's it flattens out, becomes more like a regular show. But um, yeah, so it means a lot to me. I mean, it defines a lot of, and I know Nick too. Our childhoods really.
I mean, this was my Saturday morning when it would come
Yeah,
on. I would
I
wait for
mean,
Kids WB. I would wait for Fox Kids to come on. I mean, they had Creepy Crawlers, the Street Sharks, So many shows to just watch every Saturday.
I mean, like I could tell you right now, like for example, like watching the Killer Joke or
The Killing Joke, yeah,
Killing
that
Joke.
was
You watch that, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, how's that going to compare to this? It's always this has always been my standard. I don't care I don't care what directions they go with. I don't care they have Jensen Jenkins from Supernatural playing the role of either Nightwing or whatever character. You know, what I mean, I don't care if it's someone well known. You know, it's like okay, how's this going to compare to this show? Like that is how I look at it.
same here.
Like I mean, it's to me
This is the bar,
the bar. Yeah, like the bar has been set.
and very high, might
Yeah.
I add. I mean, there's not many shows that I've rewatched. Like I just recently rebought the old Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Hmm.
I tried watching it. It does not hold up the same way Batman does. I
Yeah.
did not find myself bored watching Batman
No.
at all.
No.
And it's not just rose-colored glasses. I absolutely adore this show. Just watching it, it's phenomenal in every aspect, really. Acting,
Yeah.
like again, can't praise it enough. The art style, all of it, just so good.
Yeah. And for me, the art style, like okay, so the character, the character designs were. I'm gonna be honest, were okay. You know what I mean? Didn't blow my socks off. What always blew my socks off about the show, and always just why it puts me in the highest regard, is actually all the background designs are just absolutely insane. We were just talking about the ghost episode, right? And like when he goes into the Batmobile and you like see you first see the design of the Batmobile from inside and just how that is literal like perfection design. That's like um we had mentioned in a previous episode Alien, the artist for Alien and stuff. That's like conceptual ideas like that. Like that was such explosions of ideas and design. So much went into those. And like you could even see like the lighting effect of like just the window when they're inside and the little cars are coming at them.
Yeah, like the
You know,
lights going past and
and it's not
everything.
even that, but like almost like there's like a slight like frost on the windshield. Like who the hell thought of that? You know what I mean? That's such perfection. So it wasn't so yeah, so to better explain, it wasn't the foreground animation that I was really that thrilled with. It was definitely the all these sets and stuff and the in the electron like the vehicles and the locations to me.
As we have established before, Claudian is a lore whore and a
Yeah.
background guy. He loves
Yeah.
all that like building stuff.
S-
I'm more of an upfront person. I like that stuff. If it's in front of me, I will pay attention to it. So yeah, you get the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's like you see the vehicles and you see the world and it's like this is an alternate 1950s ish realm like where humanity did not go the fossil fuel and almost like nuclear power. They went like some sort of other technology because there's like air blimps everywhere and it's just something like it's just surreal. Like,
Yeah,
and I know that it's inspired a lot by Tim Burton, but um, even if you looked at the Tim
I think it's
Burton,
more the tone than anything.
yeah, like the definitely the atmosphere is just super. I mean, it's the bar. I can't even. It's like how do you rate or how do you describe the bar? It's like I I don't know. I know I keep rambling on this, but it's like it's the set point for me. Like I have not seen anything honestly better
No,
per se. Like
the Killing Joke is alright, and it's touted as one of the best comic book renditions
a-
of the
and I
Batman.
still base it on is it any better than this? And yes, Killing Joke is good. It was good.
Mhm.
You know, has a bizarre ending.
Yeah,
Um, and but more than Commissioner Gordon gets shot on that one. But not to spoil too much of that. But it's like, but and you know, of course, Mark Hamill did reprise his role.
oh
So
yeah,
So you're getting some of the Mark Hamill love there, but um, yeah, I mean, actually, I don't know if Conroy was in The Killing Joke, but I know Mark Hamill was the
Oh
Joker,
yeah, Mark Hamill was the Joker.
but if I'm not sure if Conroy was in it, but I know Hamill was, so I know that for sure. But I I mean, it's the bar.
Yeah.
I
It
I hate to say it, it's like I
Conroy set that bar very high, as
it's
well as the other animators and various voice actors in there, including Mark Hamill.
and what most people don't realize is when they think of the Batman and the I'm vengeance and I am the night, they're actually all emulating Conroy. Like,
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he was first, like to do that. Like when you
Even Michael or Keaton didn't even do that. He literally just kind of
no, Michael
talked.
Keaton just kind of was like, I don't think he even talked, honestly. I
He
swear he
would,
did.
because when he talked to Selena Kyle, Catwoman, and I think it's the returns, because he does
Oh,
talk to her as
I'm
Batman.
sorry, but I was talking about the first one.
I think he talks in the first one too, because he fights the Penguin.
No, that's the second one.
Is that the
Batman,
second
yeah,
one?
Batman Returns was when he comes
Oh,
back with Selena
I
Kyle.
haven't watched those in a long
But
time.
I'm almost thinking that almost like he just shows up. No,
Oh, the
Michael.
Joker was the first one.
Yes, the great actor
Jack Nicholson
Jack
plays
Nicholson.
him.
And I think he does talk, but he doesn't like say,
It's not a lot.
"I'm vengeance." Like that is Conroy,
Oh
a
God,
hundred
yeah.
percent.
Like I
And
said, voice of Batman, Conroy. Face of Batman
yeah,
is definitely Keaton, 100%.
in a much recent interview, mm, just not long ago, a few years ago, in fact, Conroy had like mentioned something in the realm of like when he liked the idea that like Batman had this alternate personalities and that he literally brought that because that was his invention. That whole he was like, well, I'm gonna be the playboy, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm gonna drink the wine and eat the cheese and be with, like hang out with the supermodel and stuff, and then and then at night I'm vengeance. See, like that's how he talked. Like he's like he loved that idea that it was like this man's living to reality. That's how he portrayed Batman. And yeah, um, superb. Favorite episode. I I like the episode. I don't remember what it was called, but it's actually not a real like heavy action one. It's the one where Batman Batman is like trying to help this like retired mob boss or something, and he's just kind of like trying to like he's like, dude, you got to think about your kid and stuff. I don't remember what that episode
Oh, I
was,
think I know what you're talking
but it
about.
wasn't like a real hard action episode. Like, but I think I liked that episode a lot. It was just so different. And then yeah, the ghost one was pretty good. Actually, I didn't realize that was Adam. Well, that I'm actually ashamed. I didn't realize that was him. But yeah. Sorry, I know I've been on that too long. It's just really hard to describe what you would argue is the bar, like in my opinion. So Nick, you got any more thoughts? Are you good on that
No,
one?
it's a
Okay.
perfect 10. Other than that,
All right. So 10, of course. Again, it's the bar. I guess it was the bar, but 10. So, all right. So we're gonna now move to the following the film that follows. Well, follows what's in this animated series, and that is gonna be Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm. Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm is a 1993 American animated romantic superhero film directed by Eric Romowski and Bruce Timm, and written by Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, and Martin Pasco, and Michael Reeves. It features a DC character, Batman. The film is based on the animated series and is the first original theatrical film produced by Warner Brothers Animation, the first film in the DC animated universe, and the only one released theatrically. Of course, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Ephraim Zemblaski Jr., Bob Hastings, Robert uh, Kazano reprised their roles from the animated series, joined by Dana Delane, Hart Boschner, Stacy Keish Jr., Abe Vigda, Dick Miller, and John P. Ryan. As the as the events of the film take place between the first and second season of Batman, the animated series, its story follows Batman as he rekindles with a former lover, um, Andra Beaumont, and faces a mysterious vigilante who is murdering Gotham's criminal bosses. The fight was the plot was inspired by Mike W. Barr's Batman Year Two comic book arc, but features an original antagonist, the Phantasm, in place of the Reaper, while also borrowing elements from the Batman Year One graphic novel, recounting how Bruce Wayne became Batman and his first attempts to fight crime. Originally planned for a direct-to-video release, Warner Brothers gave Mask of the Phantasm a theatrical release, uh, condensing its production into a strenuous 8-month schedule. The film was the first theatrical feature film produced by Warner Brothers Animation and was released through the studio's family entertainment division on December 25th, 1993, to positive reviews from critics who praised the style, animation, voice performance, story, and music. In the years since its release, Mask of the Phantasm has developed a cult following and continued to receive acclaim. In 2011, Time ranked it as one of the 10 best superhero films ever. In 2017, Screen Rant named the film the best Batman movie of all time. In 2018, Paste magazine called the film the greatest Batman movie. In 2022, Empire magazine named it the best um, Batman film. Also in 2022, Rolling Stone placed The Mask of the Phantasm at number 19 on its list of the 50 greatest superhero movies of all time, being the only traditionally animated film included. The third best animated superhero and the second best Batman film of all time, behind only The Dark Knight, number 8. So we're moving on to you, Nick.
Due to the decision to release in theaters on short notice, Mask of the Phantasm failed at the box
Mm.
office. After its release on home media, it became financially successful. Its success led to the animated Batman movies to be brought out direct to video releases, such as Batman and Freeze Sub Zero 1998, until the limited release Batman the Killing Joke in 2016. Mask of the Phantasm was the only animated Batman film to be given a theatrical release, as well as the only one to receive a full theatrical release until Lego Batman movie in 2017. So, from all that info to a little bit of the plot, well, I mean, I guess it's not really a little, it's a lot of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a young Bruce Wayne and Andrea Beaumont began a relationship after meeting while visiting their respective parents' graves. At the same time, Bruce makes his first attempts at crime fighting, but while he succeeds at foiling robberies, he is discouraged that the criminals do not fear him. Bruce becomes conflicted about whether to commit to his relationship with Andrea or defend Gotham to avenge his parents, but eventually proposes marriage. Andrea accepts only to mysteriously leave Gotham with her father, businessman Carl Beaumont, ending the engagement in a Dear John letter. Heartbroken Bruce assumes the mantle of Batman 10 years later. Batman breaks up a meeting of Gotham crime bosses led by Chucky Saul. When Saul tries to escape in his car, he is killed by a cloaked figure, the Phantasm, who causes him to speed out of control and fatally crashes into the building. Batman is witnessed at the scene and is believed to have killed Saul. The city council, Arthur Reeves, who is a corrupt and on the mob boss's peril, vowing to have him arrested.
Hmm.
Then Claudia, we'll move over to you.
Yeah, we're gonna move over to the direct to video, um, Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub Zero, is a 1998 film, the second film based on Batman the animated series, and a standalone sequel to Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and taking place under the third and final season of Batman the animated series, and prior to the events of the new Batman adventures. Kevin Conroy and Michael Ansari reprise their respected roles from the series as the two title characters. Lauren Lester also reprises his role as Robin, and Mary Kay Berman replaces Melissa Gilbert as the voice of Batgirl. It was produced by Warner Brothers Animation and animated overseas by uh, Coco Enterprises and Dangyang Animation in South Korea. The film won the Annie Award for Best Home Video Animation. Since his last encounter against Batman, Mister Freeze has made a home for himself in an Arctic cave with his newly adopted Inuit son, Canuck, and polar bear companions, uh, Nachka and Shaska. His wife, Nora, remains in her cryogenic chamber while he seeks a cure for her illness. A submarine submerges through the frozen floors of the cave, shattering Nora's containment vessel, causing her to rapidly uh, disintegrate. While with no time to lose, Freeze returns to Gotham City and enlists his old colleague, Dr. Gregory Belson, to help him find the cure. And um, so let's talk about the Mask of the Phantasm.
So that one,
You remember that really well, don't you?
yeah, pretty well for the most part. I mean, it was my favorite one, and I watched it so much, and this is probably gonna date me quite a bit, but I watched this on VHS to the point like this had the old mine was gray. It was a gray box and it was those big fat like thick
Yeah,
ones,
yeah,
not the fucking paperback ones that you got later on in life. Um
yeah. I
so
had the
I
same one, the plastic,
yeah,
the plastic
it was really
negative, and you put it in there. I'm older
yeah.
than you, so
Yeah, and those were on like a lot of Disney movies and
yeah,
stuff, but the movie was fantastic. I watched it so much that my VCR at one point tried to eat that tape. Because again, for those of you who don't know, if you watched VHSs enough, no matter what you did,
yeah.
eventually that tape would get stretched and get loose, and would eventually your VCR would try to eat it.
It would eat yeah, it would eat
it
the tape.
and there was nothing you could do about it.
Sometimes you could salvage it, like you could carefully get it out and just
Yeah,
like
rewind it,
rewind it and make sure it's tight.
but
But
geez.
after that, it was always
Oh yeah, it
it
was
was
like
always a 50-50 chance of
yeah, it would, and if it
coughing.
did work, there was like a 40% chance
Yeah,
that it ate your tape again.
yeah,
Sometimes it would work, and but it would be like almost like a skipping DVD.
yeah,
But no, this one overall was fantastic. I did love it. It's got obviously exact same animation as this one.
yeah,
I guess it would maybe be a little like the backgrounds and stuff were much more in detail than they were in like the show. Um, so that was
oh, the
nice.
Phantasm design was great.
Oh
Like,
God, yeah, it was through and through the the animated series,
yeah,
especially for like the movies. The Phantasm herself, absolutely phenomenal villain. Loved it. I give that one a 10 as well. That's my favorite one of the animated DCU movies.
yeah. Actually, to be honest, I just don't remember it. I remember seeing it. I remember scenes. We were discussing it earlier about scenes. I'm like, yeah, then our scene was like a hill and a like a bench, and you're like, yeah, there is. And it's like on a sunset. It's like, okay, so I have seen this movie because I know that, and I was like, the Joker's in it, right? If I remember, and you're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so I've seen this movie. I just don't remember enough to really warrant at a rating, like to be safe. So,
That's fair because I guess from there we can move on to the second one, which I don't remember anything about.
and I saw this a billion times. So,
So we're reversed.
yeah, well, don't worry. This one has a very low rating. Like I would rate this straight out like maybe 6. Um,
Oh, that's generous.
it dropped. Yeah, the quality was like whoop. Like
I think I did see it.
um, yeah, I guess it's most memorable because why I always remember this movie was it was the first time I ever saw 3D animation in an anime, and the whole opening scene with the submarine is in 3, like the
Ah,
submarine is 3D, but still a 2D animation, like, so it was like real, like they did 3D animation in this, which is really weird.
yeah, I don't care for
But
that.
yeah, no, I remember this movie well enough. Like it's your typical, like it was your typical storyline.
Oh,
No,
so it's typical straight to DVD, like
like
or
not even that. It
VHS.
was like a real typical Batman episode, like just
Oh, but just
just basically
lengthened for a
just
film.
60 minutes or whatever. Yeah,
Mm.
it was.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Like it didn't really get. I didn't really get too deep with it. I mean, like the stuff that the Cure, like it's like in
Well,
this
they never do
blue
because
to this blue jar, like these little valves with blue. I remember that, and I remember, of course, the Mr. Freeze. I will get there one day. I gotta save her. Like
yeah.
that's how he, because he was in the so, and yeah, so I'd give it pretty low. So it wasn't like you were like, oh my god, I gotta see this or anything. So if you never saw this movie, don't worry about it. You'll love.
Watch the Mask of the Phantasm
Yeah,
instead.
Mask of Phantasm. I remember it being good. I remember being slow when I was a kid that liked a lot of fast action. So I don't think I was entirely like I know I had the movie, but I may not have always been wanting to watch it because I was also like loving like Inspector Gadget, the movie with Matthew Broderick at the time. So I was kind of like obsessed with that, or kind of like that kind of stuff.
I
So,
mean, yeah. So I guess that I mean, and I can't even rate this because I know nothing about this film.
and I like I said a real generic like 6. Like wasn't terrible. Like it was not terrible, but it wasn't great. So
All right then. So I guess
yeah, again, this will conclude our episode, but just before you leave, again, we had some really great talent that we lost, and you know, I mean, for those who do listen to us or watch us, we we hope that there's somebody, that yourself or somebody you may know that may need help. There are services out there, and you're not alone. Um, so yeah, um, if you haven't heard from anybody, reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing? Maybe that was the call they needed. So, but yeah, I think that concludes this. So
yeah,
you're all good on everything, Nick?
I'm all good.
All right. So that will be it. It was good seeing you guys.
Thank you for stopping in.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.